This weekend, a sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's called Five Nights at Freddy's 2 released into theaters. It was my birthday, so I went on a double feature to go see Zootopia 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, I was planning on putting out a review for Zootopia 2, but the way things worked out, I filmed this video, a 40-minute rant of the FNAF 2 movie, and my camera just decided to record half of it, so now I have to re-record the whole video, so I don't think there's going to be a Zootopia 2 review. However, stay tuned for my November Movies Ranked, where I'm going to talk a little bit extra on Zootopia 2. Probably cut that out and then put it out as a review. But anyways, I saw Zootopia 2, and then I saw Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on my birthday. I'm not the biggest fan of that first movie, but I'm not going to lie, it got me more invested in the franchise. The lore and all that was really interesting. Unfortunately, that movie just couldn't stick the landing. But Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I saw the trailer and I was thinking, you know, that looks pretty good. That looks like it could be better. And they've come out and said that they're going to try to make the movie better. So I had hope that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 would be worth my time. Was it worth my time? I'll give you my thoughts here in this video. But before I dive into my thoughts, I want to know your thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's 2 down below in the comment section. Are you a fan of the franchise, the games, the movies? I would love to know all that and more. If you haven't seen it, are you excited to see the movie? With that said, I got a Splash Black Cherry Sparkling drink that, just imagine this is like alcohol or something. That movie was not good. Now look, I'm seeing people on social media come out and say it is one of the worst movies that they have ever seen. One of the worst video game movies of all time. And I'm going to come out and say it. It's not that bad. It is perfectly watchable. I think if you have a kid or someone you know who wants to go watch this movie, I think if you go with them, it is perfectly watchable. It has entertainment values to it. Definitely an entry-level horror movie. I feel like the movie would definitely be better if it was rated R. For the kills, the carnage candy, that would just bring it up a whole point. But the movie, like, it's not the worst thing you could be watching. Do I recommend you go see it in theaters? No. But if you want to watch something, it's not going to completely bore you. I wasn't completely bored with the movie. But it also, it's frustrating because it feels like a movie that has so much potential. Feels like a movie that could be a really good movie. I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking, well, this could be really cool. This could be really awesome. But the overall story and script is just really all over the place. One thing I do love about this movie, and overall this franchise, is the fact that the people making these movies very much care about the games. I believe the creator of the games is involved. So you have the pizzeria brought to life. You have all the animatronics come to life. You have the vibe come to life, which is really cool. I love that we see all of these things come to life on the screen. The animatronics look cool. Pizzeria looks awesome. And so that is something really cool because it's very, very clear that they care about the set design. They care about the lore of this franchise, for better or for worse, because the lore could be a little bit weird in this movie. But I love that they care about it because my theater was full of FNAF fans. My theater was wearing FNAF t-shirts, holding Freddy Fazbear plushies, holding pizza boxes with the pizzeria's name on it. Like, it is wild, the amount of fans that were in that theater. Like, everybody stood up and clapped. Woo! Yeah! Five Nights at Freddy's is awesome at the end of the movie. And, you know, like, for fans, that's what it's all about. This is clearly a movie made for the fans, which is completely okay. Like, if you don't know anything about the games or anything, you're going to go in and you're going to think it's a very flawed and not too good movie. If you're a fan of the games, you're probably going to think this is your favorite movie of the last 20 years. So that's something I could really appreciate, is they have respect for their fans. And it's completely watchable, like I said. But overall, the movie script, the movie story is just all over the place. I'm going to have to dive into spoilers here in a few minutes. I'm going to kind of go over my spoiler-free section, my negatives. But let's start with the script, where they're trying to take so much from all these individual games. You got the marionette character, you got him trying to do the Five Nights at Freddy's thing where you're at the computer and all the animatronics are coming towards you. We're trying to do that, and we're trying to do the overall plot of the movie, and we're trying to have a relationship with the kid, and we're doing something at a science fair. And the movie is just way too overstuffed, where, like I said, individual moments, I'm like, that could be really, really cool. This could be really, really entertaining if you take that aside, put a better script and better reasoning for that to happen. Instead, the movie just is kind of like, oh, I have this idea, let's do this. Oh, I have this idea, let's do this. And it just kind of comes together in the end, where it doesn't come together. There are two types of things. Movies that have all these individual moving parts that come together perfectly, and movies like this one that just don't come together in an Avengers Endgame level ending, which is just really weird. But the script is just all over the place. And the overall story itself is a little bit weird. And I can't really elaborate on that without diving into spoilers. But just places they go, I'm like, why are we doing this? What's going on here? This is very much in poor taste. And so the writing definitely is the big issue here to prevent this one from actually being a really good movie. I'm going to dive into spoilers right here. Is where you're going to find out, if you haven't seen the movie, to skip forward to where I'm going to continue talking non-spoilers. Spoilers, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to take a sip. Let's talk spoilers, baby. The whole plot of the movie is that this marionette character is like the spirit child, is a child that was murdered at this arcade by William Afton, and she inhabits the spirit of this marionette, and the marionette has to possess a human body to move. And so the whole plot of the movie is, at the very beginning, in 1982, this girl, the one that's murdered, the one that is the marionette, sees a little boy get dragged to the back of the pizzeria to be murdered. She runs up to all the parents, and this is the first big flaw in the movie, within the first 5 minutes. She runs up to the adults and says, "Hey, I just saw a kid get kidnapped. I just saw a kid get kidnapped." What do the adults do? "This is an adult conversation, Susie. Go away, Susie. This is adult conversation." Another parent says, "Yeah, the adults are talking here." Another parent's like, "Hey, go find your own parents. Don't bother me with this bullcrap." What? Are we serious right now? So, the movie, what? The whole movie's plot relies on the fact that these adults didn't want to help a kid that's going to get murdered. So she goes back, she gets murdered, and way down the line we find out her plot is to get the little girl, the sister of the main character. You can tell I don't remember the characters' names because it's just forgettable in that aspect. But she wants to get the little girl to befriend the animatronics that the marionette's controlling, to bypass the code so the animatronics can go out and kill the adults in this town. That's the plot. This girl's mad at the adults because they wouldn't save a kidnapped child, so her plan is to kill all adults. That, like, you know what I'm saying when I say that the story is weird? Like, that is weird. Another big thing, like I said, something leaving a sour taste in my mouth, is the fact that there's a Fast Fest going on. There's a huge festival in this town to celebrate Freddy Fazbear and the pizzeria. The pizzeria and Freddy Fazbear, who murdered a bunch of kids. That is an actual plot line in the movie, is that everybody's mad that there's a Fast Festival except certain fans of the pizza place that has murdered children. That is insane. That is like so red flag. Who thought of that? Who thought that would be a good idea? I don't know. And the way that the marionette has to move, she has to possess a body, so you get McKenna Grace, who was one of the things I was excited to see in this movie, because McKenna Grace, I think, is one of the best young actresses this generation. And how she handles her is she's part of the show that shoots, like, someone, a ghost hunter or whatever. They go to this pizzeria, and she gets possessed, so she just turns into the marionette in this completely ridiculous costume. Looks like it's, like, going to a Comic-Con or something like that. Completely ridiculous. So McKenna Grace, a very talented actress, is just wasted in this movie, which also pisses me off. And the marionette just starts to possess everybody. And, like, okay, and the way that she does it is just so weird. Another, like, I don't know, the way that the movie ends is just weird. So, the bad animatronics go to kill our heroes, or heroes, I guess you could call them, and the the little girl is like, "Hey, Let's go old animatronics. So the old animatronics bust through this house and kill the bad animatronics. Thing is, the good animatronics can't leave the pizzeria because of coding, so they die at the end of the movie, blah, 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 blah. Who cares, actually? And the way the movie ends is our main character gets mad at his lady friend, girlfriend, whatever, says, stay away from us, you're bad luck, because the person controlling the marionette and all that, because there's another person controlling her, not just the marionette, there's another one, is the love interest character. See, I can't remember the name. The love interest character, who's also the son of William Afton. I don't know. I like Avengers Endgame level. Dun 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 dun. We're gonna bust through and kill these guys. It's so ridiculous. And the big icing on the cake is the fact that the movie ends by the love interest standing there and then the marionette getting a hold of her. And then cut to black, because we're getting a third movie, baby! There's gonna be a third movie, baby! Five Nights at Freddy's, baby! Oh boy, this guy can't wait! And in all fairness, like I said, it's not the worst thing to watch. I feel like if I was watching it at home and I was able to just laugh along with the movie, I'd have a much better time with it. But, like, if you have a kid or you have friends that are into Five Nights at Freddy's and you're not, this isn't going to be the worst thing to watch. If you're into Five Nights at Freddy's, you are going to pretty much fall in love with this movie. So, before I give you my final score, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what are your opinions on Five Nights at Freddy's 2. If you haven't seen it, are you excited to watch it? Are you a fan of the franchise, or are you a casual viewer like me? And with that said, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has moments that are just really entertaining to watch. Has moments that the movie's not overall boring, but it has potential to be really good, and the script, the story is just really weird. However, I can respect that they love the fans, and that's really what they made the movie for. The movie's not for me. The movie is for Five Nights at Freddy's fans. As a critic, I am going to have to give Five Nights at Freddy's a C. I am going to say that you can skip this if you're not a fan, but if you are a fan, I highly recommend you go see it in theaters because you're going to have a great time. And the movie's already doing pretty good at the box office, obviously. My theater, I had to sit in the front row because every other seat was packed, and everybody was clapping at the end of the movie, having a lot of fun, so there's that. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Stay tuned for my November movies ranked, and with that said, subscribe.